Happy Monday morning, Sonder family. You have Team Jennifer this morning to set up our new week. It's so good to see you. My name is Jennifer Ogilvy, and I'm coming to you from the Dallas, Texas area. And then my co-facilitator this morning is the fabulous Jennifer Krippner. And y'all, she is coming to us from Germany. She is there on business. She's popping on to give you a big wave. So we are an international team this morning. Isn't that exciting? I hope that this Monday morning is finding you healthy and happy. And it's just really good to see you. Remember that this month, the month of May, is actually Mental Health Awareness Month. I love starting our day with this slide that just reminds us to live life and be aware of taking good care of ourselves. May you thrive, may you flourish, may you fail. You know, we learn the most when we fail. May you learn, may you laugh, may you shine. Be sure that your chat is set to everyone. That's how we'll communicate with one another. And I'm seeing all our familiar people who show up for our little Monday Fun Day morning group. It's good to see you all. The J Crew, yes, ma'am, Janine. So yeah, Jen said it's cold and rainy there. In Dallas, we have a little coolness to our morning, but we had a big old rainy day, and y'all know how happy Texans are when it rains because, oh my goodness, we are tired of being in a drought. I said it's like May comes and then it forgets how to rain until like October. So I'm embracing rain. Alrighty, so make sure that chat is set to everyone. That's how we will share with one another. And I'm giving all of our returning socialers a big welcome. Also, if you're watching this on our YouTube channel, welcome. We're glad that you carved out time to be intentional with your journal. We'd love to see you at a live social if your schedule aligns, but we're glad you're catching that recording. And then if there's anybody who's here for the very first time checking out a social, just put a me in the chat. You know, the cameras are off, the mics are off, but we would like to give you a big welcome if this is your first time. And of course, you know, you're welcome to raise and lower the volume as you see fit. If you don't want to hear the music or you don't want to hear me, feel free to, you know, mute this. This is all about taking what you need. We might just be a crew of already been there and done that folks this morning. I'm not seeing anybody saying that they're new. So Ben and Bennett, since you've been able to join your Monday friends, Cassie, welcome back. Welcome home. There's the guidelines that we always share to remind us about creating safe spaces. And so take a look at those very quickly. And of course, we always want to shout out that hello at silkandsonder.com for any inquiries you might have about your journal subscription, or if you have suggestions, you know, use that for our customer care. So, all right. Pardon me. I've been doing my inhaler. My spring allergies are kicking up a little asthma stuff, so I apologize if I cough this morning. I thought I was well medicated, so we'll see how that goes. But we do have this brand new theme. I guess it's not as new. Integrity. Live your life as though your every act were to become a universal law. For me, that is what integrity means. Like, if I am doing the best I can, I wouldn't mind anybody else doing it either, and that it's a universal law. So I love that quote. It's kind of guided me this week or this month as we've started to dig into integrity. And man, these themes have been pretty deep and pretty revealing. And I love how they've piggybacked on top of each other as we've looked at, you know, our belief system and alignment. It's just been, you know, really, really neat. I don't know, just a pattern of diving deep into who we are. As a reminder, we'd love to see your journal shared in Sonder Club. So if you try something new in a section, feel free to drop that in Sonder Club, a little photo of what you're doing. Or if you like want to show what your finished pages look like, your completed week, and talk about that. Share that in Sonder Club. Let us see I love to see complete pages because sometimes those blank spaces help remind us that we're all on a journey and we give ourselves grace. Anyway, yeah, and Gloria, I agree. Now we do have a couple of things coming up that I think are going to be a little lighter and a little more offer a little frivolity to our life. So yeah, we've got some good things coming up in the summer. Alrighty, so we're going to start our morning with our integrity mind map as usual. If you are here for the first time and you didn't say anything in the chat, this is that bonus prompt you get for coming to a weekly setup. It's not in your journal. We'll be working on week 2 of our mind map, our rosebud thorn reflection, and our weekly setup pages. So if you haven't already set up your mind map, this can be done anywhere in your journal. A lot of folks will use the quote page, maybe your back page, that page 60, or perhaps just a sticky note, or you use your weekly scratch pad. Mine's on the last, kind of blurry, but the last page of my journal, just because that way I can find it easily. So we have 4 weeks of this mind map for integrity. And then the last week, since it's sort of a hybrid week between May and June, will be a bonus prompt, a bonus mind map. So last week, there's week number 1, we looked at integrity through the lens of our self and inner world. So it was kind of a deep one, right? It was like, where am I betraying or honoring my relationship with myself? Like, am I being true to who I am? And this week, we're going outside of ourselves and we're going to dive into our relationships. And you may look at one relationship or you may look at relationships as a whole. But our question is, how honestly and consistently do I show up in my relationships? So last week was, yeah, oh boy, here we go, Amanda. Last week was about what we do for self. This week is about how we show up for those in our world. So I have a couple of quotes I wanted to share, and then I'll tell you, I'll share my response. But Joyce Meyer says, we can improve our relationships with others by leaps and bounds if we become encouragers instead of critics. It's so easy to be judgy, right? And have those expectations. And then, of course, our wonderful Maya Angelou says, I've learned that people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. So, both of these quotes led me to how I framed out my response this week. Now, this is the direction I went. You may choose to focus on a particular situation, a particular person in your life as you write to this, but I have shared with y'all before that, I have alcoholic family members. I'm a child of an alcoholic and a sibling of alcoholic, and alcoholism eventually took both of those people from me. My dad was an alcoholic. My brother was in recovery, but he had a heart attack, but it's because his body was tired. But I do the Al-Anon program, which is the program for families, right? And so there's a little blue book called Al-Anon, one day at a time, and that's how I start my mornings. And one of the quotes I'm sharing with you this morning is, while these loved ones may not meet our expectations, it is our expectations, not our loved ones, that have let us down. Think about that. Our expectations let us down, not people. So, another really good read, you may have done the Let Them Theory by Mel Robbins. That's very recovery type mentality. And so I've used this to guide how I reflected on this morning's um, mind map question about how honestly and consistently do I show up in my relationships. So here's what I've kind of written with, but man, as I started writing, I realized, okay, my behaviors, if I act a certain way, it's usually out of fear and not healthy things. Like if I get too judgy or you're not meeting my expectations, it's out of fear and disappointment that shows up for me. But I wrote, I'm a work in progress. I've grown a lot in understanding that I can't control other people's actions, reactions, or choices. So I try to show up in my relationships with honesty and consistency. And I said, and I don't show, I try to show up. I'm still human, um, but aware that I have a tendency to want to control things and want to control outcomes. But I've gotten better about letting others own their own choices, whether they align with my beliefs or not. And so that is sort of just that acceptance. And so I feel like that is what I at least aim to be when I show up in the relationships that are in my life. So that's the direction I took. You may go in a little bit different direction, but I thought I'd just share for me how this question hit this morning. I'm going to throw on some music while you start digging in. And again, this one may open up some big thought processes about like why do you come about your relationship in a certain way. I always say ask yourself the five whys. You keep asking yourself why, and you get to the deeper end of, I know that when I have these expectations of others, it's because of fear, disappointment. I'm trying to self-protect. All righty. So, and it is Beth Ann, the book is, I think it's One Day at a Time in Al-Anon. But I'll go to my bedside table and go grab that for you while y'all are working on this. Okay, I'll see you in a minute. Okay, there's my little blue book. I have another book that I keep at our family camp house so that I've always got my morning reading. And y'all, I laugh because as I've done more digging into just, taking care of me and realizing that like it is my expectations that let me down, not other people. Like, as you travel with that, like we're all in recovery from life. I mean, things happen that are not happy and good and supportive. And so we get these things that get wired in our brain as we have we put up walls for out of fear or out of survival, out of protection. And so when we start digging in, so like I know that even if a lot of the in the Al-Anon, this Al-Anon book is written, there's a lot of stuff referencing spouses, right? And I actually really got back into that through my brother's journey. But it's real easy to adapt, right? It's real easy to just like, what is the situation that is keeping me from being my best self? So I highly recommend it. Just kind of digging into what life is giving you, right? Oh, Regina, yeah, it's a lot of the feels with Mother's Day, and y'all, I found this beautiful quote that said that I loved about Mother's Day, and it was, "Mother is a verb." And I just thought that was such a beautiful way to frame out Mother's Day because we are moms of humans, we are moms of fur babies, but we are also spirits that have this nurturing, mothering soul for one another. Like the Sonder family is a mothering community because we care for each other. So I love that. Mother is a verb. Oh, anyway, yeah, and so good that yeah, we're ready to move forward into our week. So some of you have already shared, like yesterday was Tinder, so that could have been your thorn. We're going to take a look at that rosebud thorn reflection. I always say this is a gratitude for the week, whether it was great stuff or stuff. We'll be on page 36 this week, and of course, the thorns are the tough stuff. We've done this before, right? The buds are the things we're looking forward to, and then what's going on that's really good in your life. And yeah, Holly, isn't that nice? I wish I had thought of that. But it was a little meme that I saw that floated across my 30 minutes of allowed scrolling. I've put timers on my Facebook and Instagram accounts, so I can't look for more than 30 minutes. But I'm glad that one showed up. Mother is a verb. All right, so last week I got to go on a field trip with my granddaughter's preschool class, and we went to the Butterfly Center in Dallas, and she was terrified, y'all. She did not want a butter. Everybody's like standing really still so a butterfly can land on them, and she's like, "I do not want a butterfly to land on me." She was terrified in this beautiful place, but that was my Rose, just getting to hang out. Those are my people. I'm a former early childhood administrator, so I loved hanging out with my people. The bud for me is I'm going to Indiana this at the end of this week to see my brother's middle boy graduate from Wabash University. So shout out to all the Indiana members of Sonder family. I'll be in your area. And then the thorn is just trying to become power of attorney in my brother's place to take care of my mom. And oh my gosh, the hoops you got to jump through, even though you have all this, yeah, Wabash. Um, anyway, so yeah, just the power of attorney stuff. I don't like that kind of stuff. And it's like a full-time job again. So that's my thorn. Y'all work on yours and share in the chat. Let's hold space for each other, either celebrating or, just helping to carry the load with, yeah, parenting your parents is difficult and exhausting for sure, Chris. If you know, you know, right? Trying to keep my expectations set in a really nice place, and just have expectations for me. Anyhow, let's work on this, share in the chat, and then we'll get going with the setup. All right. Oh, Radhika, I feel you. Radhika is talking about her mom is kind of making risky things. Yeah, when you're parenting your parents. I don't know if y'all remember, but a couple years ago, my mom had a stroke and a fall from the stroke. And so her short-term memory is not good, and she realizes that. So fortunately, I'm not like fighting her for that. She just sort of, I put everything with my email address and all of that. So I'm fortunate there. Excited about recovery, Cassie. Oh, you've been quite a recovery for that. Glad you're doing better. We've got some grandbaby news from Jennifer. So that's exciting. Marissa, yay for nailing that interview. I hope that you hear news sooner. It's so hard to wait. Um, just giving a lot of gratitude for y'all and for the way you share and hold up one another through the thorns of life. Lori, oh yes, oh, Lori said she had a broken fridge and freezer. That's never good. And oh, I bet it was kind of icky. Sorry about that. Yeah, we those rosebuds and thorns, it's all about balance, right? So thank y'all for sharing. All righty, let's get on with our weekly planner setup now, which will be on pages 40 and 41 this week. And I think we're all old hat here, so I'll kind of go through these slides at a little quicker clip so that you can take a look at some different inspiration, and then we'll work on our pages and get y'all on with your day. Here are three show and tells. I like to say you can see they're all set up a little bit differently. I want to point out, look at the habits and activities at the bottom of all three of these pages. They're being tracked differently. The one from left to right, we've got goals set, we've got no goals, and then we just have, the tracking with the color coding, how we want to feel. We've got joyful from the left. In the middle, we've got more of something, less of something, and then three words for the feelings. Also love the one in the middle that's their weekly to-do box. And then they've created a mental health corner, which is so good because it is Mental Health Awareness Month. So if you feel like maybe you haven't been diving into that in the way that serves you the best, perhaps you repurpose a space to be kind of your mental health corner and put in those things that will help you take care of yourself, like calm music, sweet treats, sit in nature, do a brain dump. Those are so inspirational. Pardon me. We're going to start with how you want to feel this week. And just this feeling, remember that feelings are signals, not orders. So you don't have to act on every feeling. And I want you to, before you decide how you want to feel this week, do a quick self check. Like, how are you feeling right now? And if you're feeling great, take that feeling into your new week. But if you're sitting here thinking about, I'm just feeling off and I feel maybe a lack of energy, or, I'm feeling angry or snippy. What word would counter that? How can you embrace that? So do that self check in to choose the word that you use this week. And of course, we always say, this can be a quote, this can be an affirmation, you can use an amazing sticker. You can drop your word in the chat right now. And I love like when we see the doodles. I brought back that positive blooming. I love that one. The energized with the bubble letters. I've just in the last couple of weeks have been going through hopeful and joy-filled. Those have been the words where I have landed for how I want my week to feel. Um, I love that. Marissa has a sticker that says, I'm trying, but I'm very tired with a kitty cat. So, yeah, you just want to feel rested. Maybe you can get that lighter. We've got some good lighter by being unhurried. Oh, I love that extension. Rested and energized. So y'all have some great words. So yeah, do that self check-in and that can inform how you want to feel. You can see some more and less pressure, more peace. Love that. A good sticker. Choose to see the good stuff. That one really aligns with our mind map about relationships this week. Alrighty, so let's take that feeling now into our goals and our habits. So, okay, I'm gonna bug you. Go look at your intentions page. I want you to let that be your foundation for this month. So, are there some goals and or some yeah, some goals and to-dos that could support these areas in your intentions, or maybe that start, stop, and continue. Maybe your goals this week are something to start, something to stop, and something to continue, informed from that space. And then notice that this person actually is going to do that check in by look at the stop, start, and continue 4 times in the week. So doing that self check in. So just that reminder for y'all to hold yourself accountable to the things that you said you wanted for this month of May. All righty, we're going to take a look. Those 3 goals, we again look at those intentions. Maybe look at your habit tracker, that monthly habit wheel. How's it going? Are there goals for that? You can look at the lens of integrity, and maybe you work on your relationships a little bit, how you show up, and those become your goals or your to-dos. And then we can also repurpose this space. You don't have to have 3 goals. You can have one, or you can have 4, or you can just put something completely different in this space that will support the week that you need to have, like a rhythm and routine space. So you can see here are just a lot of daily things that this person wants to do. And so they're looking at these routines. They've created a little self check. So when they open up their journal, they're seeing what they want to focus on: growth, 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 growth to be organized and managed, to learn new stuff, and for mental wellness. So those are kind of those 3 goals. And then they've put in place this routine to make that happen. So love that idea. The idea of no goals, what do we say no to? What do we want to stop or to, yeah, stop if we're looking at that stop, start, and continue? Are there 3 things to say no to? Get rid of those. The not to do list. And I love this graphic. You may want to set some things down, right? What do you need to set down? And that could directly come from how you're showing up in relationships. Perhaps you have a theme for the week. And so I love how you see one is going to do celebrate, the other one is alive, aware, and able. And then their goal is each one of those words, how they're going to make that happen. Focus on different categories. A lot of us do that so we can just plug the things into things like work, self, and home, or mind, body, spirit. Frog Fun Fierce. We've done this many times. Notice the one in the upper middle there. There's actually 4 things that they are focusing on for their goals, and then they've sort of done the to-dos underneath there. And yeah, just more and less with how we're going to set up those goals. I love this graphic too. Back to the grind. Nope, back to finding peace in simple rhythms. And then sometimes our goals directly inform the to-dos for the week. Now, I put my to-dos on the next pages, and then my to-do spaces for to-dos, those extra things that I've done, so I can look at that and be proud of myself and have some power by writing them onto paper. So here's some really great ways. My to-dos kind of look like the example there on the right, except I don't have at work and at home, but I loved how this person set that up. So they've got their different tasks for their to-do page. Or maybe your to-do is just a sweet little reminder, like that step-by-step graphic that we see there. Or you do the to-do list like me. Or maybe you just need to be a certain way this week. And so you create a to be list. And does this come from your reflection on our mind map that, is there a way you need to be for those people that you are showing up for in in your life from our mind map. So let me put on a little bit of music while you work on your goals and to-dos and share how you're setting the space up. I always love how y'all show up for each other. Thank you so much for sharing in the chat and sharing with each other and just cheering each other on, holding space. Oh, Christina, I'm so glad to hear that the Sheep Detectives was good. That on my to be watched list, but I'm on the library wait list for the book. I want to read the book before I go. I think it's three bags full, maybe. So I'm excited about that. All righty, y'all. Let's now take those goals and to-dos down to our habits and our activities. And there are some little bitty, small little habits that might inspire this space for you. Things like making your bed, going to sleep early, sit silently for 5 minutes, all very good things for our mental health since we're trying to be more aware this month of May. Chris, yes, Maya is a voracious reader, and she's the one who told me about it. So I put it on my pickup list at the library because I want to read the book first. Um, so yay, Maya. Plan your day, which is what you're doing. Declutter a space. Take breaks. And then James Clear always says, try in your habits and activities not to miss twice. Like it's okay to miss. But if you miss twice, then the chances of you missing more than twice greatly improve. And so just try to be as consistent as you can be. It's okay to miss, just don't start making it a habit. So just a few slides to share with y'all. I circled that guy over there in yellow where it says chores and tasks with a podcast. And so maybe your habit is to listen to a podcast or listen to an audiobook. And you can pair that with something else. And then that's called habit stacking. And so anytime that you are trying something new, take that new thing and put it with something you're already doing. And then when you check that off, so like if you are a bed maker every day, put your new habit with making a bed, right? Because then you're going to be, if you're tracking it, you're going to see that and be more likely to hold yourself accountable. Also, yes, Gloria, I thought it might be. I recognize your handwriting. But it's nice to have those things paired together and a little motivated. Like I get to listen to my podcast or I get to listen to my audiobook when I'm doing my chores. A reminder, you don't have to fill out every line here. You can circle days, certain things need to happen. And then the one in the upper left there, I love that they are looking at they're updating their habit tracker and updating their mood tracker, and they're making sure that they're holding themselves accountable for those pages. So maybe that needs to show up there if you're having trouble there. I brought this one back with the little ladybug tracker up there on the upper left because I think this is, 3 times for medicine maybe. And so you can divide this into a little ladybug and color it in when that gets done, and then some great examples of just not having to fill in all the things. The one on the upper right, check those monthly pages so they're holding themselves accountable to those trackers. If that's something that you have trouble with, then maybe it needs to show up on your weekly tracker, so you'll go back and do that. And then I have some more habit suggestions, so let's take a quick minute to set this section up, and we'd love to know what you'll be tracking this week. Might inspire some of us. And let us know if you're going to do any kind of pairing together, some stacking. Marsha, I love that you were thinking about habit stacking with like you're making your bed while getting your morning movement, stretching and dancing. And I thought, yeah. And I almost started dancing with the sheets. It gives a whole different meaning, doesn't it? I love that. I can see you having a happily made bed in the morning. That's kind of fun. All righty. So let's now take a look at this next page, which gets repurposed a lot. Gloria, I believe that is one of your older pages on the left there. So again, thank you for sharing in Sonder Club. It's where we can pull things and sometimes I use older pages and it's like what's old is new again. So you can see she repurposed the menu plan with kind of a prioritization list of tasks to do, but broken down into those days. And then she gave herself the weekend off. So I loved that, Gloria, because, it's okay to like have permission to like, nope, not going to do that this weekend. The mind body health plan, both of these examples just show those self care things to do. I really want to encourage you to save this space for something that is really going to support your mental health awareness for this month. But let's do something this week that is just for you. And that may look like a list of things, something for every day, or just a menu or a good sticker that's going to make you feel good. And Gloria had done a little fun bingo, and I love the read, square. And I think I would end up pairing that with an iced coffee, and I could knock off two at the same time. But you can see the one on the right has some really lovely stickers for just, think about when you open up your journal and you see those good quotes. And they're using their menu plan for victories this week. Isn't that a great word? Like maybe that should be a theme for the month, victory. So let's start by looking at our meal plan. Here is a very dedicated space for using it as a nutrition tracker, like before noon, noon to six, after six, and tracking what they're eating, color coding, um, the things that they're drinking. If you haven't been doing that, you might be surprised that you're drinking a lot more coffee than you realized. And then here's some more ways that folks have used this space for their nutrition. They may be doing macros. Maybe you just put your main meal of the day there. The one in the upper middle is was fruit and veggies. I accidentally cut off the graphic, but they're just tracking the colors that they're eating for the week. But there's a lot of ways to repurpose. There's some suggestions there. I'll kind of go through these slides really quickly. Everything I'm showing you for these sections can be repurposed in one another's spaces. So, you may decide to do a symptom and health tracker, maybe in your mind body health plan. They're all very interchangeable, but here's some great examples, word of the day. Maybe you have your schoolwork or homework or lesson plan reminders, a wardrobe tracker or a packing list, haiku. I love this one. It's a little bit older. It is been repurposed into an energy tracker, kind of having an awareness for where your energy levels are. Notice that in the Mind Body Health Plan, they are rating high energy to low energy, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Probably going to assign a number to kind of the overall vibe of the day and maybe making some notes in that meal plan. So I thought that was kind of neat. Again, notice those water droplets that are color coded. And then I love the one over on the bottom right with a little mini journal prompt on a post-it note, and then the answer can go underneath that. I love using post-it notes in my journal. And then let's go to the Mind Body Health Plan. Speaking of the mental health awareness, make sure you're taking time for yourself to give you what you need. And if you think something's off, maybe you need to take a break. And there are some things to look at, like maybe, if you're feeling it's becoming harder to stay positive, or favorite things don't feel fun anymore. Those kinds of things are telling you it's time to make some changes. And so maybe you look at these everyday self-care tools that you see on the right. Those are very simple things, but man, when you approach them with intentionality, they can really change your mindset. Something as simple as getting a little sunlight. Pardon me. Um, Here's a fun little list, the real luxuries of life. Maybe you incorporate these somewhere on this page. And then I loved this graphic. Doing your best looks different every day. And so sometimes laying down is doing your best. And then sometimes being filled with energy is doing your best. So just remember that your days don't have to look the same. Some things about our mental health awareness, some ideas for you to do. I love this graphic from the Silk and Sonder Instagram account. Be sure you're following them, but it's broken up into morning, afternoon, and night. And so perhaps that informs some of your goals and habits for the week. If do that, you're focusing on the three different times of day to do a self check with, how you're doing. Let's see, we've got some other great examples of the Mind Body Health Plan. Always love the question, how did I nourish my mind, body, soul? And then there's some fun ways of how to mix up your routine. And it's very small, different ways, but it would be things that would maybe make your brain think a little bit. Maybe you redecorate your workspace or watch a movie or a TV show in a different language. Isn't that fun? Wear an outfit you don't wear often. Y'all, I finally got to my closet and I said goodbye to three different sizes of jeans, and they're going to Goodwill. But oh my gosh, to see that shelf decluttered and not making me feel guilty anymore. Anyhow, so I found clothes that I haven't been wearing because they got kind of buried. So I'm going to be wearing outfits that I don't wear often. 5 minute self-care ideas for very busy people. Just small things. Look at that. Savor your lunch. Like, what does it look like? If you're eating anyway, but if you are mindful of savoring what you're eating, think about how that can reset your brain in the middle of the day. Maybe you don't need a mind body health plan, you need a mind spirit health plan, like you see there on the right. Of course, we love the alliteration, and I know some of you did that for your feeling, how you want to feel this week. So you could incorporate alliteration into your spaces to make those days kind of fun. Again, just a fun list. I love the Mind Body Health Plan on the upper left there, has some very just sweet things to do. I mean, Saturday is roller skating. Come on, how much fun would that be? Perhaps you break it down into mind, body, health. And then this is from the one that you see that's sideways. That's an older one of mine, but it's from Seligman's work on flourishing in your life. And every day I did a quick little mini reflection of what I was grateful for, what was my role, what role did I play in whatever I'm grateful for, and what was the positive emotion I experienced. And so I just did that as a little mini check-in each day. And yes, Jennifer Krippner is a big authority on Seligman's Flourish model. So that's a good one to incorporate, especially if you're feeling a little down. This will help with that mental health awareness. Here's a fun bingo using our sticker set. And then some examples of shopping lists. But again, these could show up in your meal plan. Yes, Marty, the father of positive psychology. We love him. Maybe your dinner plans go in your shopping list. We haven't talked about that social check-in, also very good for your mental health awareness. So notice on the bottom left there, just made this little graph, and they're going to check in with these people, either text, a phone call, or a face-to-face interaction. They're going to code it by a heart if they text, an asterisk if they call, and a smiley face if they do face to face. And then they've listed the people they want to be intentional with. When was the last time you sent a snail mail letter? Maybe that's something you could do this week. Also, next to that, in the bottom middle there, is this idea of using the GLAD model. So you think about, what am I grateful for? What have I learned? What did I accomplish? And what did I delight in this week? What delighted me? So maybe you just leave this, you put this space there with those four things, and it becomes kind of an end of the week check in with yourself about the overriding things. What was the big thing you were grateful for? What was the big thing you learned? So lots of ways to use this packing list. We've mentioned that. Joyful things. Gloria, pulling an old one of yours there. Bookish nonsense. Are you reading? Are you listening to books? Maybe you need a good quote. I love the idea of having a weekly quest in your life, doing self-care, mind, body, soul. And of course, we love a good bingo, joyful things or random things. Here is our meaningful May calendar from the Action for Happiness. So something from here might get, you don't have to do it in daily order. Just pull out the things that speak to you. And then finally, what are you loving? We'd love for you to drop that in the chat while we work on this second page of our journey. And Jennifer, good for you. She says, I haven't read book in years for just fun. And so she's going to be working on that. Share what you're reading. Let's put on some music. I'll go back through all these slides. So if you saw something you like, grab an example, take a picture or screenshot, or tell us how you repurpose any of these spaces, what you'll be doing. And then we'll close out our day. I always think I'm going to have enough time to just go through these slides and chat it up. And then I look and it's like, where did the time go? So, y'all, this has been recorded. You'll be able to access a recording of this in like probably half an hour. If there's something that you missed and you need to go watch again. So I apologize. We are trying to beat the clock, aren't we? Thank you so much for joining us this morning. I will be doing a coloring social Wednesday night, so you could come and hang out with your journal. You don't have to color. You can bring another craft, whatever you want to do to just sit and be with your Sonder family. I hope to see you there. It's a little bit, quieter time. Share your weekly planner in Sonder Club. We are so glad that you made time for one another and for yourself this morning. I send you lots of light and love this week. Have a good one, Sonder family.